Here are four things that I want you to know before you get a swimming pool. So, the first thing here is I just want you to know that getting a swimming pool is a real commitment because you can't just go on vacation next year for 3 months and forget about the pool. And you're like, well, who goes away on vacation for 3 months? Like, I don't know, people who can afford to put in a swimming pool, probably. And unfortunately, the pool takes care, like regardless of whether you're using it or not, and that is an expense. And that's, I'm talking about that kind of going away for long periods of time. You can't just set it and forget it. You need to hire somebody, a professional, hopefully, to come by and take care of it for you in your absence. And so that kind of leads to the number two point here, which is that even if you don't use the pool all the time, you don't swim every day, maybe you're not a big swimmer after all, you still have to pay to take care of the pool and you still have to invest time to scooping debris and vacuuming it and things like that, cleaning the skimmer baskets and the pump strainer baskets. And maybe you prefer a more hands-off approach to it and you hire a company to take care of that stuff for you. That's going to take care of about 90% of it. But you're still going to be out there scooping an errant squirrel out of the pool every now and again. That's just a reality of owning a swimming pool, is it's going to increase the workload and the amount of money that you have to spend in your backyard. The third point that I want you to know about swimming pools before you buy a swimming pool is I would want you to accept the reality that a swimming pool area is never totally safe and totally secure. I mean, there's layers of protection that you can and should be using, things like a fence that has an automatic closing gate and it's of a certain height that meets code in your area and it's unclimbable. And maybe you've got other things like a pool alarm or alarms on the windows and doors that lead to your pool area. All of those things are good and you can and should consider doing them, but still, I would want you to know that the pool is never safe. Unfortunately, pools are dangerous. I mean, it's a liability to have a giant open pit of water in your backyard, and all of the well meaning fences in the world aren't going to stop somebody from wanting to get in there. And this is from wildlife to pets to children to teenagers in the middle of the night. There is going to be a liability associated with owning a swimming pool. It's something that you're going to have to accept and be conscious of as a swimming pool owner, because you don't want to ignore these responsibilities and then have something terrible happen in your pool. I think universally nobody wants that to happen. And the way that you avoid that is just not being complacent about the fact that you have a swimming pool. Always make sure that you keep, that self-closing fence free of any obstructions that's going to stop it from closing. Make sure that it's unclimbable, meets your local code, that kind of thing. Just being very diligent about it is how you deal with that problem in specific. The fourth thing I want you to know about swimming pools before you buy one is day one, I want you to start a repair fund. And you're like, what are you talking about? Day one, I just bought this thing. I just installed it. And I'm thinking that's the perfect time to start saving money for swimming pool repairs. I've been in the industry for 30 plus years now, and I can tell you that swimming pool repairs, pretty much all, are expensive. There's very few surprisingly affordable swimming pool repairs. Most of them are just soul crushingly expensive. And it will depend on what kind of pool you have. Like an above ground round swimming pool is going to be a lot less of a concern than, an in-ground gunite and tile swimming pool, something like that. So, there's kind of levels to this game. So the amount of money that you should be putting aside, will be relative to the type of pool you have. But oftentimes I'll go and look at, let's say, this concrete pool we were talking about, and it's like you need tile and plaster, a new tile and a new interior surface in this pool. You should also get a coping. It really needs to be done. Now's the time. Do all three together, coping, tile, and plaster. And people, when they hear the quote, they just turn white. They can't believe the numbers that you're talking about. We must be miscommunicating. There must be a mistake here. Nope, that's just what the going rate is for that work, and more times than not, I'm being pretty lenient and kind with the pricing. This kind of stuff is just specialized work, it costs a lot of money, and the answer to their question when they say, "Where am I supposed to get that kind of money?" The answer is you should be saving day one. I mean, it's like, owning a swimming pool is a massive luxury. It's like if you had a Lamborghini because you think that's awesome, and one day it breaks. Do you have any money to repair it? What? You didn't put any money aside. You spent all of the money buying the Lamborghini and you never saved any money for repairing it? I would consider that to be a problem. And that's kind of the same way I look at a swimming pool. It's like, okay, you own a 50-year-old swimming pool, looks to be in pretty rough condition. You should have started that slush fund a long time ago. I mean, charging all your friends and neighbors every time they want to come over and go swimming, like throw $2 in the can because this thing costs an arm and a leg. And you can't ignore those repairs. And when you do ignore those repairs, the pretty expensive repairs turn into massively expensive repairs. And even like, filling the thing in turns out to be a lot more expensive than you were expecting. So there's just no good options there. I want you to know all of this stuff about swimming pools because these are realities. And don't think for a second I'm trying to talk you out of getting one. There's nobody in the world that wants you to get a swimming pool more than Swimming Pool Steve. Go to swimmingpoolsteve.com. I think that just having your eyes open, having a little bit of a reality check in terms of some of the harsh realities of owning swimming pools, I think that's a good idea. And if you hear all these and you're like, yeah, this is all kind of obvious stuff, great, sounds like you're ready to own a swimming pool. If you hear these and you're like, well, I never thought of that, and that doesn't sound like something I want in my life, or it's just an angle I hadn't considered. Well, you can't make an informed decision about getting a pool if you're not considering all the angles. So I hope you found this information helpful. If so, please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can check out my website, swimmingpoolsteve.com.